guys, we will officially get started. I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining me this morning. My name is Elizabeth. I'm your instructor. You're in a Pilates-inspired fitness class. For props today, all props are optional. If you have dumbbells, you can grab them. If you have a foam roller, you can grab that as well. I will cue to use those, but you can always do the exercises without either of those props. So let's start with those palms facing in. And reach those arms to a T, kick one foot back behind, come to center, and switch, and switch. All right, guys. And then just with this super simple move, I'd like to take this opportunity to request of you to keep your workout with me pain-free. So that is comfortably uncomfortable is fine, pain is not. If you're feeling pain, please take care of your sweet body. Do something a little bit different so you're not feeling pain. You can do something entirely different so you're not feeling pain. So whatever that looks like for you, the idea of no pain, no gain does not work in my classes. I am not for that saying. That said, comfortably uncomfortable is fine. So if you're like, holy cow, I'm feeling a muscle, gee, it's burning, it's shaking, that's okay. But if it's structural pain, joint pain, anything like that, we want to avoid that because I want you to feel better and stronger after class. A little sore is okay, muscular soreness, but nothing structural. All right, so I think I have made that really clear. And you are breathing for 3 and 2 and 1 and come back to center and swing those arms from side to side, taking Lady in a Park. Really nice to see you guys this morning. I love that we can Pilates together. For 3 and 2 and 1 and come to center. All right, take a step back with that left foot. And then I want those feet parallel as if you had each foot on a railroad track, so those toes are pointed straight forward. Then come onto that rear tippy toe, lower that heel, and do it again. We're going to come into biceps curls as we're doing this, keeping that core tight. Begin to squeeze those upper arms into the torso, thereby activating those biceps muscles even more. And breathe, keeping the core tight, keeping those shoulders down and back. It's so funny to me. I always think, oh, I say that way too much. And then even last week, someone said, oh, I love it when you remind me to do that. So I don't say that too much. Note to self, keep saying that. All right, so you should feel a little bit of warmness picking up in that back calf area as we are working it. For 3 and 2. And the next time you're on those tippy toes, pause. All right, reach those arms down to your side. Okay, so you're on your rear tippy toes. Softly bend that front knee. And then kick that leg out behind and lower and lift and lower. We're going to come into triceps presses or extensions. So bring those elbows back behind. And then straighten and straighten. And continue. And breathe. And keep that core tight. And keep those shoulders down and back. Yup. Bring those elbows behind you as if you're trying to lift them up towards the ceiling and together. And notice how in doing so, how much it activates those back muscles even more. Woo. For 3 and 2 and 1. And come back to center and swing those arms from side to side. Ooh. Okay. For 2. And 1. Let's take our right foot. We're going to kick that foot back behind us with those toes pointed straight forward the whole time. And then lower that heel and lift, lower and lift, and continue. Yep. And this time, let's come into hug a tree and open those arms, and hug a tree and open those arms. There's a softness in those elbows. Yep. And breathe. So we're getting a nice stretch in that back calf area, and then we're contracting that muscle as we come onto those tippy toes. So it's a nice, what's the word? Contradiction of ideas, stretching and strengthening. Whew. All right, those arms, it is as though they are resting on a countertop sliding across. So they're not lifting and lowering in space, they're simply opening and closing. See if you can feel your chest muscles as you bring those arms together and your back muscles as you tear those arms apart. That sounded really violent, but it's as though you're tearing something apart, not your body. Okay, for 2. And the next time you're on your tippy toes, pause. All right, then let's lift and lower that back leg. So we're working that back booty area. If it feels okay for your body, maybe reach one arm overhead and the other arm overhead. And continue alternating. Yep. And breathe. Woo. Keeping those shoulders down, trying to keep that roundness in those arms as you reach the arms overhead. Now, the closer those arms are to your body, the less of a challenge. So just keep that in mind. If you want to keep that roundness in your arms of hugging a tree with those arms in front of you, this is going to be more intense than if those arms are close to your body. And breathe for 3 and 2 and 1, and come back to center. Swing those arms from side to side. Okay, maybe that heart rate's coming up a little bit. That's on purpose. For 2 and 1. Okay, let's take that left foot. We're going to kick it back again. Right. Then you're going to come onto those rear tippy toes and lower and lift and lower. This time we're going to do it a little bit differently. So as you lower that rear heel, come onto your front tippy toes. And then switch and switch and switch. Yeah. So at one point in this movement, make it so all or both heels are lifted. So you're Pilates prancing. Okay. And you're breathing. Okay. Let's come into biceps curls. Okay. So you might be experiencing a balance challenge. Yeah. Squeezing those upper arms into the torso. Making this work. Making your muscles work even harder. And breathe. Woo. For 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Step those feet together. Step the other foot back. Yep. You might know where this is going. Come on to that rear tippy toes and switch and switch. So we're doing Pilates prancing in a staggered stance. And then this time we'll come into triceps again. So let's bring those elbows behind and straighten those arms behind and breathe. So, taking that balance challenge. It's because we have a narrow base. Even though our feet are pretty far apart, they're far apart, but close to the midline of the body. So if they were far apart, wide, that would create a more stable base. But it's a pretty narrow base. So you might be feeling that balance challenge. And again, that's on purpose. Okay. And breathe for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And step those feet together. Nicely done. Swing those arms from side to side. For 2 and 1. All right, guys, we are going to come into a minute of cardio. So I'm going to jog with biceps curls. You can do whatever you'd like. Let's go ahead and begin. You are breathing. I just love how some of you, the second we do this, you're like, I'm out of here. And you run off and run through the house, perhaps, maybe up and down the stairs. Whatever feels good for you. You can also just come into a marching. If you're not comfortable jogging and you'd like to get that heart rate up, guys, you can bring one knee into tabletop and reach those arms overhead. This will also increase your heart rate minus the bounce. So it's not necessary to bounce to get that cardio. Okay, and you're breathing. On Halloween, we did a little dance blast. It was super fun. Yeah, anyways, maybe I'll incorporate more of that into my regular classes. But it was really fun just to kind of go for a free-for-all with the spooky song Thriller in the background. Okay, guys. So you're breathing, keeping those shoulders down and back, keeping that core tight. Yeah. So I tricked you a little. We're actually going to go for 20 more seconds. I'm turning this into a minute and a half of cardio. And just about 15 more seconds. And breathe. Yep. All right. Keeping that core tight. Keeping those shoulders down and back for 3 and 2 and 1. Swing those arms from side to side. Nicely done, you guys. For 3 and 2 and 1. All right. Then feet are slightly apart, all 10 toes pointed forward. Arms in a goalpost position. Reach that booty back, reach those arms overhead, and do it again. And breathe. Keeping that core tight, keeping those shoulders down and back, Now it's really hard to keep those shoulders down and back when you reach those arms overhead. So the next time those arms are overhead, pause. All right, where are those shoulders? Can you drop them? Can you drop them some more? All right, and continue trying to keep those shoulders down this whole time. And breathe. Woo. For 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and come to center. All right, guys, we are coming into another minute of cardio. So whatever that looks like for you is totally fine. And let's go ahead and start now. All right. So these little cardio blasts that we do in class, they're really great for helping to increase the metabolism and fight depression and make you feel good. Oh, I just said that, fight depression. There's so many studies that have been done about cardio, and certainly strength training is important. And that also can lend to those two ideals of increasing the metabolism and fighting depression. But this cardio thing is really awesome. So that's why we're doing a little bit more of this. It's kind of a stressful time. No matter your political leanings, everyone seems to have very strong opinions about it. Probably stressful for everybody. I think both parties can unite on that. Yeah, it's stressful. So this little extra blast cardio might help to alleviate some of that. Or not. If nothing else, it's fun. And you're breathing. And you're keeping your core tight. And those shoulders are down and back. All right, we'll go just for about 5 more seconds, guys. And 2, and 1, and swing those arms from side to side. Nicely done, guys. For 3, and 2, and 1. Okay, then let's take those arms to a T, kick one leg to the side, and switch, and continue. All right, you're breathing, you're keeping your core tight. I'd like for you to close your eyes, go through this range of motion without the assistance of your vision to guide you, and notice how it feels a little different. Yeah. So with those eyes closed, are you keeping those shoulders down and back? Feel what's going on in your body. Woo. And breathe, keeping that core tight, keeping those shoulders down and back. And breathe for 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and come to center. Let those arms hang at your sides. That was kind of interesting, huh? How everything changes when you just close your eyes. We're going to continue with that just a little bit. Of course, I want you to open your eyes if it's more safer for you this morning to do so. All right, let's come on to all 10 tippy toes. And then lower one heel, tippy toes, and switch, and switch, and switch. Coming into that Pilates prancing. And then let's come into biceps curls. All right, so this is pretty familiar. This is a movement that is ingrained in your muscle memory because you've been doing this for years in the studio and also on Zoom classes. So maybe close one eye, maybe close the other eye, maybe just for a millisecond, whoop, and just notice how that changes it, the exercise. Whoo. And breathe. Yeah, so you can close your eyes outright, or you can squint a little and like decrease the amount of percentage of vision that you are experiencing. Or you can close one eye or the other. So lots of options. But just playing with the idea of removing that sense of vision in a manner that is safe for you and noticing what happens. So certainly balance, but also notice how it's much easier to really feel what's going on in your body. It's kind of like the other senses, they kick up, right, when we remove that sense of vision. Woo! Woo! And breathe. Yeah. For 3, oh my gosh, I'm totally losing my balance. And 2, and 1, and come back to center. Open those eyes and swing those arms from side to side. Nicely done, guys. Okay, coming into another minute of cardio. All right, so let's begin. Yeah, if you're getting tired of the jogging with the arms, you're welcome to do something different. You can do some disco, whatever you'd like. We're just moving, trying to increase that heart rate. So we're increasing the rate of the blood flowing through our body. We're increasing our oxygen. That's why it's called an aerobic activity. Yep. We're also creating an impact activity, which helps to strengthen our bones. I actually have a bone density test coming up. I've never had one before. I'm kind of curious about that. All right, and you're breathing. I guess I'm reaching that age where you get to take more tests, like the colonoscopy. Oh my gosh, I've never had one. But good to make sure everything's all right. Okay, that may have been TMI. My apologies. Okay, so for 5 and 4 and 3, 2 and 1. All right, let's set the dumbbells down to the side. We will use them again in a moment. Place the hands onto the hips or at the waist, and then kick that left foot back behind. All right, all 10 toes are pointed forward. So in other words, we don't have those toes to the side, they're just forward. Go ahead and bend that standing knee just a little bit and lean forward. So there's a long straight line from your heel to your tush, to your waist, to your shoulders, to your head. And then lift that leg and hold. All right, so I want those rear toes pointed down to the ground. Yeah, so that's gonna keep this pelvis stable. Okay, then if it feels safe for you, like a teeter-totter, go ahead and lean forward, lifting that leg, lowering it a little, and continue taking this balance challenge. Woo, and breathe. Yup. Keeping that core tight, keeping those shoulders down and back, making sure that those rear toes are still pointed down. I don't know about you, but my muscles certainly want to turn those toes to the side as I come down, which I don't want. So I'm overriding that with my thought process to keep those toes pointed down. Woo! For 3 and 2. Okay, adding on, guys. The next time your torso is in a straight-ish line, and that rear foot is lifted, whatever that looks like. If you're more in this position, that's okay. Okay. If it feels okay, maybe reach one arm out and maybe reach both arms out. Yep, coming into that straight line. I'm going to omit that because that doesn't feel good for my back. But for most people, that's a really nice challenge. So go ahead and do that if that feels good for you. For 4, looking good, guys. Loving the variations. And 3 and 2 and 1. Good, nicely done. So that was a lot of balance, a lot of leg, even in the standing leg supporting us. So we'll do that on the other side. So let's kick that right foot back. Again, making sure that all 10 toes are pointed forward. We're going to soften our left knee just a little bit, and then go ahead and find that long straight line. I'll put my elbows down so you can see. And then begin to tip forward and up, forward and up, keeping those rear toes pointed down. Yep. And breathe. Woo. Taking that balance challenge, squeezing that rear booty cheek, keeping those shoulders away from those ears. Looking good, you guys. Maybe a little shaking going on. For 3 and 2. And the next time you are leaning forward with that torso, again, whatever that looks like for you, pause, taking that balance challenge, maybe reach one arm out, maybe reach the other arm out, maybe not. Listening to your body, whatever feels good for you. For the full expression, you would be parallel to the ground with those arms reaching forward. Making sure those rear toes are pointing down. Again, mine really want to tilt out to the side. So I'm overriding that with my concentration and my control. Woo! Feelings quite a bit. For 3 and 2. Really nice, guys. Loving the shaking. And 1 and come back up to the center. All right, then let's do a little hip tick. So come onto those tippy toes. And then I want you to lower that left heel down while remaining on that right tippy toe. Come up and switch and switch. So you're keeping your legs straight, so it's tilting the pelvis. Let me see if I can give a better angle. So heels are up, You're gonna dip one heel, heels up, and dip the other heel and continue. Yeah, so those hips are ticking from side to side and you're breathing. Okay, now as we're doing this, guys, begin to see if you can feel some work in your oblique area as you're going through this range of motion. Because these muscles in here, they're working as we go through this range of motion. Whew. And breathe. So we talk a lot about pelvic stability. This is a time to throw that out the window. I want that pelvis to swing from side to side. Swing might not be the correct word because that connotes like momentum and gravity, but you're moving your pelvis purposefully. Yeah, so when I say swing, that reminds me of a passive exercise. This isn't passive because you are creating this and making this happen, but your pelvis is moving. For 3, and 2, maybe a little balance. And 1, and come back to center. Okay, so maybe you feel a lot of muscles in this area of your body awake after that exercise. So that's kind of cool, right? Okay, let's bend those knees just a little bit and then come into big hip circles like you are twirling a hula hoop. If this is at all uncomfortable for your knees, you can omit it, you can modify. For 2, and 1, and pause, and then let's reverse the direction. Yeah, we'll revisit this movement in a bridge situation, and it will give you a chance to notice the difference. So that's kind of cool. All right, for 2, and 1, and come to center. All right, reach those arms overhead. Tap your belly. Tap your shins. Tap your belly. Reach those arms overhead. Belly, shins, and continue. Okay, so we're going to add on to this. However, you can always continue with an earlier version of the exercise. Maybe as you reach those arms overhead, bring one knee into tabletop, place it down, and then other knee into tabletop, and continue. Now, as you lean forward, I want those knees to remain behind the toes, leaning forward to touch the shins, and continue. Yep. Okay, so this is going to increase the heart rate. We're working the major muscle groups of the body here, and we're working with those arms overhead. So our heart has to pump harder to get blood up to those upper extremities. Woo! And breathe, keeping that core tight. I can't tell if there's a different light because it's like an hour of the time difference hitting my cheek, or if I put way too much highlighter on, but I've got like a super shiny thing on my cheek. All right, you are breathing, keeping that core tight, keeping those shoulders down and back. If it feels good, maybe pick up the pace. And breathe. For 4, loving the movement, you guys. And 3, and 2. The next time those hands are at your shins, pause. All right, so your booty should be back, those knees are bent, and then let's place those hands, let's slide them up from the shins to the top of the knees. Okay, so not on the knees, that would be bad, but just on the top. Okay, then I want you to press your belly button forward, arching your spine, looking up slightly. Then imagine that you have a belt on and someone's just pulling that belt behind. And then arch forward. So this is like a cat and cow type situation. I'm after movement in your spine. For 3, and 2. And the next time your chest is forward, pause. All right, then come on to those tippy toes. Can you come higher onto those tippy toes? And breathe. So we're taking a static hold on the calves. I'll give you a different view. So we're on those tippy toes, keeping those heels super high. Yep. And then we're stretching our spine out nice and long. And breathe. Keeping that core tight. Can you come higher? Woo! Onto those tippy toes. Kind of hard, but going for that balance challenge. And breathing. For 3, and 2, whoop, and 1. Let those heels come down. Good. Stay in this position. Let's bring those feet together. We're going to make this a little more challenging. However, you can continue with an earlier version at any time. If it feels okay, come onto those tippy toes. Oh, See, so we've created a narrower base, so it's more challenging just to remain on those tippy toes. All right, so once you find that, lifting those heels super high, maybe reach one arm out, maybe reach the other arm out. Can you come higher onto those tippy toes, drawing those shoulders away from those ears and breathing? Woo! So lots of muscles in the ankles and the feet, lots of core. We've got shoulders working, booty, squeezing those booty cheeks. By the way, balance for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and come up to standing and let those heels come down. Nicely done, guys. All right, coming into a minute of cardio, whatever that looks like for you. If you want to grab your dumbbells, you can, or you can move your arms without your dumbbells. Whatever feels best for you. I'm going to omit the dumbbells this time. But if you're in a biceps curl situation, squeeze those upper arms into the torso. And then maybe, if you'd like to, move those hands more quickly through space, as if you're slicing space with your hands. Yeah, and breathe. So that's kind of a trick. When I ask you to move your arms more quickly, what really happens is your whole body moves more quickly. So it's like everything, yeah, so that's kind of a sneaky Pilates instructor thing to do. But certainly if that doesn't feel good, you're omitting that. I'd much rather have you be in control than moving quickly. Woo! And breathe. Yeah. You can jog to one side, jog to the other side. You can even, lots of options. So whatever feels good for you. Yep. And breathe. Keeping the core tight, keeping shoulders down and back. Imagine there's a string right here. Someone's just lifting that string up. Yep, and you're bringing those shoulders down and back. Now I really feel like Tom Cruise, doesn't he? Run kind of like that. Okay, if you haven't noticed, yeah, we're going for another minute. And you're 25 seconds through that second minute. So we have just about 30 seconds left. And then we're going to take it down to the floor. Okay, and breathe. Keeping that core tight. Keeping those shoulders down and back. Woo! And breathe. Yep, just about 15 more seconds, guys. So maybe you're feeling a little glistening, a little sweaty. That's all good. In fact, that maybe that's what my little thing on my cheek is a little sweat. All right, and pause. Woo! Good job. Nicely done. Swing those arms from side to side. Really good. I'm loving it. Loving your moves, guys. For 3 and 2 and 1. All right, we are going to take this down to the ground. So have your dumbbells nearby. Let's go ahead and come down into a seated position. Then lying all the way on your back. Oh. Bring those knees into your chest and gently rock from side to side. For 3 and 2 and 1 and pause. All right, let's take both legs up straight towards the ceiling, holding onto the back of the thighs, and then flex those feet a point, flex and point, come up into a crunch position with your head, neck, and torso. You're holding onto the backs of your legs for a little support. All right, so by the way, whenever you're you've tired or whatever, it's such a good thing just to lie on your back and get those feet up, even against a wall, just to let all that blood come down. Whew. Flexing and pointing those toes for 3 and 2 and 1. Keep that left leg in the air. Place that right foot onto the mat with that knee bend and lie back. All right, palms are at your sides, palms are facing down. For this next sequence, guys, keep your head flat on the mat, please. Okay, then I want you to press into your right foot into the mat. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, lift those toes up towards the ceiling, coming into a bridge, lifting those hips off the mat, and lower, and lift, and lower. It is like there is a toe, or a string around your toe, and someone's just pulling it up towards the ceiling. Yeah, so if it's available to you, you're going to keep that leg straight and keep it up towards the ceiling the whole time. I realize that in my demo, that's not quite what's happening because I am modifying. But if it feels okay for you, you can have that leg straight up to the ceiling the whole time. But if it doesn't, you're going to modify just as I am. Okay, so you should feel that right booty cheek talking to you as you're lifting and lowering through space. Woo, quite a bit actually for 3 and 2. And the next time you're up, stay up. Okay, straighten that left leg out, bringing the knees together. And we're just gonna hang out here, guys. So big, huge isometric contraction on this right booty cheek. Yeah, knees are together, that left leg is straight. Woo, and breathe. Okay, introducing a little bit of movement in, bring that left knee into a tabletop, kick it out long, knees together, and do it again. And breathe. Whew. For 4, and 3, and 2. And the next time that knee is in tabletop, pause. Okay, guys, listen carefully. Those right toes, you're gonna lift and lower and lift and lower. Yeah, so you're pressing your right heel into the mat as you're lifting and lowering those toes. Woo! And breathe. Yeah, if you're cramping up, go ahead and come down at any time. Joseph Pilates, in addition to making lots of really cool exercise equipment and inventing an exercise system, also used to come up, he coined the phrase cramps happen, which is really clever. For 3, and 2, and 1, and place that left foot down and let both booty cheeks come down. So in other words, hips are down. Hug those knees into the chest, curl into a tiny little ball. Yeah, if he had shared that phrase with the milk industry, wait, milk happens, got milk. Oh, different phrases. Anyways, so as you know, that phrase SHIT happens became pretty popular. He was the first to say it, but he said cramps instead of the other word. For 2, and 1, and come back to center. All right, guys, take an inhale. As you exhale, lift those hips. This time, we're going to take that right leg straight up towards the ceiling. Palms are at your side. Head is down. Lower those hips and lift. Lower and lift. And continue. Trying to keep that pelvis stable as it's moving through space. Woo! And if it feels okay, that leg is straight, those toes are up towards the ceiling the whole time. However, if your angle needs to be a little less, that's totally all right. Making it work for you. Okay, so now the work's kicking over into that left booty cheek. Whew, really feeling this quite a bit. For 3, and 2. And the next time those hips are lifted, pause. Okay, take your knees and place them together. And we're just going to hang out here for a moment. Now, notice, did your pelvis shift? If it did, shift it back, okay? I'll do that again. That looked really dramatic. So if you're noticing that right hip sinking, go ahead and pivot it so it's in a neutral position. Okay, so taking the static hold, heck yes, you should feel that left booty cheek firing up. You are breathing, not moving, holding still, isometric contraction. All right, let's add a little movement in. So bring that knee into a tabletop position, kick it out long, knees together, and do it again. And breathe. Remember, you're keeping your head down. Remember, you're keeping that pelvis stable. Woo! And breathe. For 4. Yup. And 3. Holy cow. And 2. Cramps happen. Go ahead and come out if you're cramping. The next time that knee is in tabletop, pause. Okay, listen carefully. We're going to press that left heel into the mat as we lift those toes and lift and lower and lift and lower. Woo! And continue. You are breathing. Looking good, you guys. Squeezing that left booty cheek. Woo! For 4. Oh my gosh. And 3. And 2. Holy cow. And 1. And let that booty come all the way down. Tiny step apart with those feet and windshield wiper those knees from side to side, creating a rainbow sensation with those knees. Actually, that feels really good. If you'd like to, you can mimic this arm movement with your arms. I was just demoing, but notice that this feels quite nice. So you're welcome to join me in making a big rainbow arc with those hands. And breathe. For 3. And 2. And 1, and come back to center. All right, let's bring those palms back down to the mat. This time, let's flip our palms so they're facing up. Okay, then I want you to take the outside of your shoulders and press them into the mat. So that's going to create that chest heart opening sensation, which, by the way, bridging does. That's one of the reasons why we include this in almost every Pilates class. But we're accentuating that by pressing the outer end of those shoulders down. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lift those hips. All right, then coming to hula hoop hips. So now you're allowing that pelvis to move freely. And breathe. And notice how in the different points of the circle, different muscles are activated and relaxing. It's kind of interesting. And you might be hyper aware of all of those muscles because we just worked them to exhaustion. So they are fatigued right now. So you're probably feeling this more than if we hadn't worked those muscles. All right, notice the direction of your circles, guys, and pause and begin to reverse the direction of the circles. Oh, and breathe. Now, are you still pressing the outside of those shoulders into the mat? If not, go ahead and reactivate that again. Tucking that navel into the spine for 2. And 1. Come back to center. Let those hips come down. So hips are all the way down. Hug those knees into the chest, curling into a tiny little ball. All right, guys. Let's grab onto the backs of those thighs again. Take those legs up towards the ceiling. We were in this stretch a moment ago. If it feels okay for you, you're going to keep your legs where they are. Remain in a crunch position with your head, neck, and torso. Reach one arm back behind. Sweep it around. Reach the other arm out behind. Sweep it around. And continue. So it's kind of like you're swimming with one arm, reaching that arm overhead, sweeping it around to the side. Yeah, and continue. We're going to add on to this, so at any time you can continue with an earlier version of the exercise. Maybe you'd like to reach both arms back at the same time, sweep those arms around, both arms back at the same time, and sweep those arms around, and continue. Yeah. And then maybe, so I'm just going to keep adding on. You can do any combination of the moves that feels good for you. Maybe as you reach those arms overhead, maybe lower one leg and then lower the other leg. And if it's available and you want to have perfect form, you can keep those legs straight. That doesn't feel good to me, so I'm keeping a slight bend in my knees. But whatever feels good for you, if it feels okay to keep those legs straight, I encourage you to do so. But if it doesn't, I encourage you not to do so. All right, guys. And then maybe you'd like to lower both legs at the same time. I am not even going to demo that. That would not feel good for my body. But if that feels good for you, go for it. And breathe. Whoo. Keeping that core tight. Noticing how this feels in the shoulders. It should feel really good as you're going through this range of motion. Yep, feeling that shoulder socket becoming lubricated with synovial fluid. Oh, feeling those ab muscles really on fire. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Good. And then place those feet down. Let your head, neck, and torso come down. This time, reach those arms overhead. Palms are facing up. Keeping your head on the mat. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lift those hips. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift, and continue. So this is a nice balance to the work that we just did. So we're opening our chest, whereas we were closing it a moment ago when we were doing that abdominal exercise. The next time those hips are lifted, pause. All right, guys, if it feels okay for you, you're going to, with contact between your fingernails and the mat, open those arms to a T. Maybe bring those hands down towards your body, towards the midline, underneath your booty, and then open to a T and do it again. If you have dumbbells in the way, feel free to kick them out of the way. So I'm after big snow angels. And breathe. Move just a little bit. All right. Who knew that my snow angel radius was so large? All right, so you are breathing. Those hips are lifted. You're looking up towards the ceiling. That head is flat on the mat. And then if you'd like to add to this, Maybe bring one knee into tabletop as those arms are overhead. Place it down and switch. And switch and continue. And breathe. I was talking to a friend in Boston, and it snowed over there. I was like, that's just, I mean, it's not crazy because it's Boston and it's fall. But compared to like this 80 plus degree weather we're having, it's easy to become so micro-focused in our own world that like that was kind of jarring. Like, really, it snowed? Anyway, so imagining you're in Boston making snow angels and breathing. Or you can be on the beaches of San Clemente making sand angels. That works too. All right, for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and come back to center and let that booty come down. Okay, nicely done, guys. We're going to do a little bit of side lying work next. So go ahead and lie on your side facing me. If you have a dumbbell handy, you can grab it. Oh, I told you to use your foam, have your foam roller. You know what, guys? We're going to grab the foam roller. Sorry. You can set the dumbbells down. If you have a foam roller, go ahead and grab it. If you don't have a foam roller, it's okay. You can do this entire sequence without being on a foam roller. If you have a foam roller, go ahead and sit on the front end and roll back. Yeah, so I want the foam roller going the length of your spine. Okay. From here, if it feels good, you're going to bring one knee into tabletop. Hold that knee in a tabletop position for 3 and 2 and 1. Replace that foot down. Bring the other knee into that tabletop position and hold. Yep, for 3 and 2 and 1, and come back to center. All right, come up into a crunch position with your head, neck, and torso. And then reach one arm in front and reach the other arm in front. So you can certainly do this without the foam roller. Yep, and then reach those arms back overhead and reach those arms up overhead and then towards your knees, up and over, and continue. Yep, just coming into a little bit of upper abdominal work, guys. So as we're doing this range of motion, I want you to feel these upper abs under your upper ribs below the girls working. So those arms are just an extension of the core muscles. So as you reach those arms overhead, see if you can kick the work into your core, making this movement happen instead of thinking about moving your arms through space. Yeah, for 3 and 2 and 1, and come back to center. Place those elbows down onto the mat, okay? And then bring one knee into tabletop and bring your other knee into tabletop. Okay, so if you're on a foam roller, you've got a little instability going on. If you're not on a foam roller, you've got a terrific ab exercise going on. Kick one leg out long, bring it back in, other leg out long, bring it back in, and continue. Whew. Keeping the core tight, keeping those shoulders down and back. And breathe. For 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Both knees in tabletop. Good. All right, guys, from here, you're going to keep that knee bent in a 90-degree angle, lower the toes of one foot, and switch and continue. So as you lower those toes down, guys, I want you to reach that foot away from you so it's not coming right down by your booty cheek. Yeah, and then in that distance away from your body, it's going to be more challenging for that abdominal area, which you're like, yes, I know, I feel it. Okay, for 3 and 2 and 1, come back to center and then place both feet down. Let your head, neck, and torso come down. All right, guys, taking a wide step apart with those feet, drop the knees to one side. Okay, so if you're on your foam roller, it's going to be a slightly twisty sensation as you are, as you are rotating those knees to one side. So just feeling that nice, yummy stretch, and breathe for 4 and 3, 2 Come back to center, and then let those knees drop down to the other side. So whatever that looks like for you. If you want a large range of motion, you can literally let your knee drop all the way down to the side. You're gonna have to like shimmy a little on the foam roller, or you can go for a less extreme range of motion and remain more on top of the foam roller. So lots of options. For 3 and 2 and 1, and come back to center. All right, if you're on your foam roller, I want you to roll to the side, remove the foam roller from underneath you, and then hug those knees into the chest. Hold this curling into a tiny little ball, bringing the knees towards the forehead and the forehead towards the knees. My range of motion is tiny, but if it feels okay for you, you can make them connect and breathe, curling into that tiniest little ball for 3 and 2 and 1. Place those feet back down onto the mat. Yep, and then just roll the foam roller to the side and then come onto your side. So you're on your side facing me. Place the elbow underneath the shoulder and lift those feet. Place the other hand onto your waist. Okay, and then open and close, and breathe. So you should feel a lot of work in that lower body. Just go ahead and squeeze the oblique muscles and see if you can begin to feel those obliques working as you're going through this range of motion. Okay, yeah, and breathe, keeping that core tight. So these kind of sneak up on you. They start off by not feeling that much, and then boom, holy cow, you're feeling all that muscle recruitment. Okay, let's go ahead and add in a little bit of arm work. So as we open, let's reach that arm up overhead and then bring that elbow down to the waist and do it again and continue. Okay, so now you might feel those obliques working a little bit more as we're moving this arm through space. Woo! We're just going to do one long set of these blasted out, and then we'll switch over to the other side. Yeah, trying to keep that shoulder away from the ear, even as we reach those arms overhead. Woo! Yeah, feeling this quite a bit. And breathe. Woo. For 4. Yeah. And 3, feeling this so many areas. And 2. And 1, good. And then let's just flip over to the other side. Placing the other elbow below the other shoulder. Knees are in front of the hips. Lift those feet. And then let's begin to open and close. Open and close. And we'll start off just by feeling these muscles in our oblique area, which might not feel like they're doing much at the moment. But as you know, that is going to change. Noticing how we're working that outer thigh area, that outer booty area. By the way, this muscle is really hard to target in the booty that we're targeting right now. And breathe. All right, and then let's go ahead. And then next time that knee is lifted, reach that arm overhead and bring it down. And do it again. Ooh. Feel like it snuck up a little faster on this side than the other side. Really feeling that muscular fatigue. So we got a lot of cardio in today. We got a full body workout. We got some stretching in. So hopefully you guys are feeling awesome, ready to go ahead and begin to start your week. All right, we'll just do about 10 more of these. And breathe. Woo. Yup. And 3. And 2. And glorious 1. Oh my gosh, really feeling that a lot. Yeah, I can tell you are too. And some of you are tapping that area. Okay, let's go ahead and come into an all fours position. This is a transient position as we come up to standing. So if there's a different way that you'd like to come up to standing, that's fine. Maybe kick one foot out in front of you, placing your thighs or your hands on your thighs and pressing yourself up. Okay. All right, and then let's swing those arms from side to side. By the way, you guys, am I full screen right now? Yeah, okay. So Zoom is weird for me, and half of my screen just went away and there's something else on my screen. But as long as I'm full screen to you, that's all that matters. For 3 and 2 and 1, and come to center, and then reach those arms up overhead. Wow, really feeling like I got a nice shoulder workout in. Drop those shoulders, curl those fingertips over, tuck the chin to the chest. Begin to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae, coming all the way down. Swing those arms in circles in one direction, whatever that looks like for you, and pause and swing those arms in the other direction in circles. Yeah, I said swing, so this time I do want a little gravity and momentum, so just that release in the shoulder area. For 2 and 1, tuck the chin to the chest, begin to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Last to come up is the head, coming up to standing. Bring those shoulders up, back, and down, up, back, and down. One more time, up, back, and down, and walk into your day and your week with your awesome posture. Really good job, you guys.